Anthony Adebayo.
With you there, but if you're a coach, do you take that chance?
Yes.
You can reach us at the Off the Record Show at gmail.com. Anthony Adebayo and the most accurate sports coverage. Scotty B's Fantasy 5.
We're different from any other sports.
His sophomore year. Comes back and says, you know what?
And your boy, Scotty B.
Man, Scott's on mute, guys. Eventually he'll figure it out. There you go.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's like delayed on my end. So it might be my little low speed internet I got going down here.
If anybody knows Scott, you know that his internet is not low speed.
Low speed. Look at dial. Gotta upgrade the dial up.
Yeah, yo, what is happening right now? But nah, man, what's going on? It's Off the Record. I'm Anthony Adebayo.
Hey, man, it's your boy Scotty B. All right, so 2 weeks in a row. That's a trend. I know it's been since we had the 300 episode. I don't know if we recorded 2 weeks in a row.
I'm almost certain we've recorded 2 weeks in a row, but I definitely understand what
you
you're
get.
saying.
You get my point. But I can't even put that. I can't even put that all on you. It'd be half the side too. So
it's
definitely a shared responsibility.
Confession time.
Huh?
It's a confession time. It was a couple weeks ago. I was home. I was like, I called Scott. I said, yo, Scott, we got to record. He was like, oh, you still want to record today? At that moment, I knew we wasn't going to record. I was like, man, it's up to you. If you want to record, we can record it. If not, he was like, you know what? We'll just wait till next week. Yo, you know, being tired or working, and it's just like, oh man, but we got to be better, yo. We will be better. We will be better for the people, because
Nah, the people are asking, man. The people are demanding
I don't want
that they would be better.
So all right, man. But in the sports world, we got the play-in tournament that just started. The draft is a week away, a week and a day, because we are actually recording on our regular day to record, which is on a Wednesday. So yeah. You know, but I say this: that's two shows in 5 days. So that, man, you know what? We don't even deserve no applause or no horns.
Definitely don't need a round of applause.
All right. So all right. So the play-in tournament. Yesterday was the first game. Orlando defeated the Hawks. And I definitely want to talk about that. And the Warriors defeated the Grizzlies. So the Grizzlies are waiting for the winner of is it the Kings? I believe it is the Kings, and I forgot the other talent. Drew a blank that quick. See, that's what happens when you be missing in action. But they waiting that winner. And then the Kings are waiting for the winner of Miami, Chicago. Not the Kings, but the Hawks. Yeah, did you see Trae Young have some beige rage yesterday?
Listen, let me tell you, right? That game was so disappointing. I fell asleep.
Right.
Couldn't run my Madden game and missed the Golden State and Memphis game. So I had to catch the highlights when I got up because I fell asleep.
So why? Oh, so you couldn't run your Madden game because you fell asleep.
I fell asleep watching that boring game. I mean, Orlando didn't do anything wrong. It just early on, you just knew that, and it stunk, right? Because when I was looking at the betting for the game, I was like, you know what? I want to take the Hawks because they're the underdog. They've got the best odds. And about 5 minutes into that game, I realized that, yeah, I see why they were the underdog. But yeah, I did see the rage. I felt personally a little bit more was made of it. To say he was making a mockery of the game and
no, we've definitely seen worse. You know,
absolutely.
I don't. Yeah, he was just raging. He was upset with the way the game went. I mean, you can understand that as a competitor, you know, things like that happen. It is what it is. But I mean, when he threw the hell out the ball to the ref, I was like, the ref teed him up and kicked him out. He was like, yo, you ain't gonna throw the ball at me like this. Who you think you talking to? Got him up out of there. I thought he was gonna kick the ball into the stands, yo.
He was hot.
He was, yeah, he was hot. Yeah, and so I mean, the Magic got a good team, man. So the Magic are gonna play ball. They do have a good team, man. They have a good team.
They have a good team. That unfortunately, they may get swept in the next round.
I don't think they get swept.
Okay, so you think they win one game?
The Magic could beat the Celtics twice, but they probably won't. I mean, Celtics in 5. Damn.
Yeah, it's going to be the Celtics in 5. I mean, a sweep is a little bit disrespectful. They may be able to figure out how to win one game, but I'm impressed in the youth movement of the Magic. I think that they've put together a good, and we'll say they're a good team. I'm not going to be disrespectful, but they're not a team that if you're the Hawks, that you're thinking that game is just unwinnable. Like that team is just scares you that much. I mean, Cole Anthony, he came off the bench, gave them 26. I mean, who's scared of Cole Anthony? I mean, he's a good role player, and he was starting for most of the year. But yeah, I mean, if I'm Trae Young, I would have been frustrated too.
The Magic have a good team, man. I can't let you get away with that.
It's a good team. It's a good team. I won't quit disrespecting him because it's not fair.
I think that Paolo is going. He's a future superstar in the league now.
Absolutely.
He had some injuries this past season, but before he got injured, he was putting up numbers. Matter of fact, he was still an all-star if I'm not mistaken. So I mean, we'll see. But I have the Celtics winning that series. Now I will say this: if the only team out of the Hawks, Heat, and Bulls that I think could get a win against the Cavs are the Heat. Those other teams are getting swept. The other two teams are getting swept.
So I was just about to ask you that, right? So it's no secret. Ant he roots for Miami. But if you really, 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 really know Ant, he is a Bulls fan. So this is going to be interesting, right? Because I'm low-key wondering, who do you root for in this situation? Like, are you a Bulls fan tonight? Are you a Heat fan tonight? like make it make sense.
It's moments like this. It's moments like this where I'm like, man, but it's always family first.
Okay, fair enough.
Heat with the win. Heat with the win. Like, let me tell you something. I remember when D Wade was in Chicago, right? And Bam got drafted, and I'm just like, you gotta be kidding me. But then they got rid of him. They was like, yo, get up out of here, man. And he went to Miami. I was like, all right, all is well now. So two of my guys on the same team, they in Miami, and I could still root for the Bulls when that moment arises. But when they play each other, it's
I want to tell you, like, you just brought back a memory, right?
Yeah.
That Bulls team with Rondo, Wade, and Butler. I just felt like that was on paper, and going into that season, I was like, man, that's a heck of a squad.
They don't play defense. You would expect that team.
Man,
and if I'm not mistaken, Tibbs was the coach.
Yeah, I couldn't understand why that didn't work. Now, what Wade ended up going to Cleveland, because Cleveland traded him, and he ended up going back with LeBron, which that team
that joint was a debacle. They
had
D Rose, Wade. I mean, it was like it was a debacle. They got rid of a lot of them dudes, brought in some younger guys, and said, LeBron, lead us to the championship again. And they went to the finals. No,
that team had Kevin Love too.
Yeah, Kevin Love.
It might have had Isaiah Thomas on it because they got rid of Kyrie Irving for.
Yep. And they traded for Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah,
it was bad. That was bad. So, but nonetheless.
So was that team? That team ended up getting to the finals when they traded some of their pieces away, right?
Some of them. Anybody that was over 30 except for LeBron. No, well, Kevin Love, LeBron, and J.R. Smith was still there. But they got rid of Wade. They got rid of Rose. They got rid of Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah, that's right. Because they got Isaiah Thomas. They ended up sending him to like L.A. or something like that,
or Sacramento or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it is what it is. So so I got the Heat tonight to get the 8 seed. And you know, I think the games last night, Jimmy Butler put on a show, man. The Warriors, look, man, the Warriors are gonna be scary. They're gonna be scary.
So here's the thing with Jimmy Butler.
Mm-hmm.
Is he plays his best when everybody has written him off. So, you know, all the mess that he was stirring up down in Miami, I don't know. I'm not going to take a side. I don't really know what point he was trying to prove. But I know the minute that he got on that Golden State team, he has just been a terror. And he's been balling, and he's just been – I mean, that 38 points, that was the most he's put up in the Warriors uniform. But he's had some other big-time games, man, and he complements that team really well. Do you really think that they could beat Houston?
The Warriors? Yeah, I think the Rockets are probably too young. They're probably a year ahead of schedule. I mean, they do have a good team. They have a hell of a coach, but I think that the Warriors are going to be too much for the Rockets. I got the Warriors in 6.
All right, so I have a couple series that I feel can go down to game 7s.
Okay,
that's one of them. That is one series that I'm looking at. That I'm looking forward to seeing that. I think Houston's going to put up a bigger fight than what most people think. But I also am looking at the Warriors like, do you really want to bet against Steph and Jimmy?
Yeah. You want to bet against Steph and Jimmy and Draymond and Kuminga and some of those other guys. No, I think that's a lot of playoff experience.
Yeah.
I'm going with the Warriors. I could see 7 games, but I also could see 5 or 6.
The Warriors, you know what? I'm going to go with the Warriors in 7 too. I can see that. Yeah.
So all right. So we both have the Warriors. Some of these other so I'm sorry, the Mavericks play the Kings tonight. And I'll have the Mavericks winning that. But then I have them losing to Memphis. I have Memphis getting the 8 seed and taking on OKC, which is going to be a hell of a series. Oh my! Hey, listen, the 7 and 8 seed could win in the first round.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
That happened with the Warriors and the Lakers, if I'm not mistaken.
But I think OKC is going to win. I do feel like that's going to be a good series. All right, so let's go back to this Mavericks Kings. So I think we both could agree. I got the Mavericks too. Okay. What do you think about the Mavericks GM having a closed meeting? I think his name is
Nico.
Nico. What is his name? Nico. Whatever his name. Yeah. How'd you feel about him having a closed door meeting?
Harrison. Hey, look, man. He's scrambling right now.
He's scrambling.
He's scrambling.
He's scrambling.
Hey, listen. If the Mavericks lose tonight, if the Mavericks lose tonight, he may get fired by the morning, if not sooner.
He should be fired. I just looked at something, and it was talking about Kyrie Irving may not be coming back until January, if right. All goes well, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, to have a closed door meeting, you're doing a lot of explaining. And when people tend to do a lot of explaining, they feel like they gotta like justify or defend. Right. And the only reason you're justifying and you're defending is that you feel like you were in the wrong, or maybe like you could say that you don't have any regrets, and maybe you could stick to your guns, right? You made your decision, you got your chest poked out, but the reality is the fans are livid. And like you said, if they lose tonight and they don't go and they don't make a run in the playoffs, yeah, he may be chased out of town.
Because it's going to get to the point, even with the ownership's backing, they may axe him, cut him, get him a fire.
You can't choose this guy over the fan base. The fan base is irate.
Yeah, it's not good.
So
he's pretty much quadrupling down on his reasoning for trading Luka.
So here's the thing, right? If he was going to trade Luka, which he did trade Luka, you have to link it to some performance, right? So, like, if you take your team to the championship and the fan base is thinking like, okay, we're really one more piece there, he's got to figure out how he can paint the picture that Luka can't get him there. And they didn't paint that picture. That picture was, oh crap, this is our guy. You know what I mean? Like this is our future. Yeah, the future is looking bright, and just in the middle of the night, middle of a Friday night, late deal gets done, trade gets done, and it's like, man, what were y'all thinking? And now he's got to answer that. And you're right. If they lose tonight, he may not be able to ride the bus. He may not be able to go to the locker room. Like the ownership may come get him out the stands. Like, all right, it's been a good run, but your party ends here.
So this joint, I'm quoting this. This is the quote. When you make a trade like this, you have to really look at it in its totality. It's very thorough. We looked at everything, and again, just felt that it was in the best interest of our team going forward. I keep saying this, but defense wins championships. So he's going away from the out of shape narrative, which he also went on to say he's probably dropped the most points when maybe he's not in the best condition, and so he can do that. That's not an issue. So those are his words. I guess it's going to the whole defense thing. And again, we've seen plenty of superstars that's not even as good as Luka not be able to play defense and not get traded. And Luka, I'm not saying that he's the best defender, but he's by far not the worst defender, and he's not that bad defensively where you have to trade him. And to top it all off, LA don't seem to be struggling defensively. They seem to be doing pretty damn well defensively.
Matter of fact, he improved their team.
Exactly. It's like, so what?
Where's the thought process? Yeah, like where are we going with all this?
He was better off. He was better off sticking with the Luka not being in shape. But it wasn't working, so you had to use something. You had to say something else. It's like, all right, that ain't working. That ain't working. So we gotta come up with something else. What are we gonna do?
But again, what you're saying, and you're absolutely right. Right? Defense wins championships, but why couldn't you surround him with more defensive talent?
Hi, Daddy.
Hey, baby.
Hey, we got a special guest in the building. Let's go.
She said, snuck down. Her mom just went and grabbed her.
So yeah, you surround. So you do what every smart GM does. You go get two of the best wing defenders that you could get. You go get one or two bigs that are rim protectors. You get another point guard that you could put on the court with Luka. That if you have an elite point guard that they could play, somebody like a Drew Holiday, right? Drew Holiday. Some people would call Drew Holiday a 2, or some may call him a 1. It don't matter. He could guard damn near every position on the court.
Right.
So you get somebody, and you may not get somebody as good as Drew Holiday offensively, but they may have the defensive prowess of Drew Holiday, and you're like, yeah, you just built a team. We literally just built a team in 10 seconds. Now you gotta go find those players, but that's your job. You're a GM. You go find those players and build them and build the team around your legendary superstar, because he's gonna be
and to be honest, like you said, it didn't have to necessarily be done this season. Like, if you can't get a trade done this season, you could have, waited to the off season. Like, you had time. Like, Luka would have undoubtedly got the Mavericks where they are now. Like, and they would have been a playoff team. They wouldn't have been you would have had a better excuse. Kyrie Irving got hurt. All right, well, we're playing C, and then you just kind of build for the future. But yeah, he dropped the ball in that big time.
It's gonna be interesting. I've heard people compare it to Babe Ruth, to the Babe Ruth trade. Mm-hmm. Well, we know Babe Ruth went to the Yankees and they won a boatload of championships, and the Red Sox were in a drought for 86 years. They had an 86-year drought. So let's just say the Lakers don't win a championship. Let's just say they win the championship next year and they go back to back or something like that. The Mavericks are in purgatory, and do they go on an 86-year drought? Because the last time the Mavericks won the championship was what, 2011? They won in 2011. So I don't know, man. I
always thought back to when Trae Young and Luka were draft day trades, and I always thought about, like, was that smart on the Hawks? And Trae Young, good ball player. Anthony Davis, great ball player. Well, both of them are great, right? So you can't take anything away from them. But I always thought the Hawks may have done themselves a disservice by making that trade. Like, Trae Young, as good as he is not Luka. And, I felt like the Mavericks got the better end of that deal, but then you fast forward, you're like, dang, man, you just traded the man away to LA, and it's like, man.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So I mean, I agree. They made it. They got in their own way. The Hawks in that situation, and now the Mavericks. But anyway, enough basketball. We got the whole next month or two to talk about the playoffs. The playoffs actually will start next week. Man, we'll see. I think they should be pretty exciting. NFL draft is a week away, man. A week away.
A week away.
Okay, anyway, whatever. That was kind of corny. But anyway.
No, but we'll get to that, though. The other game 7, I want to get your thoughts. That's going to be an epic failure.
You want to stay with basketball? All right.
My Knicks versus Detroit.
Oh, if y'all lose, listen. Y'all lose to Detroit, it's over. The window's closed. They're gonna fire the coach. They're gonna hire Michael Malone. I don't think I have the Knicks winning that series.
Okay.
I have the Knicks winning that. The Knicks better not lose.
Nah, they can't. It's too much money. Too much money.
The Knicks are what seed are the Knicks?
The 3rd. So I believe the Pistons are the 6th.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's gonna be a scrappy series.
It's gonna be a good one. I think it'll be pretty similar to Philly, New York from last year.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be pretty scrappy. So, any other basketball? You got a lot of basketball out of me today. Half the daggone show we was talking about daggone basketball. Who else? What other series you think could go to 7? Lakers played who the Lakers got again? The Lakers have
the Clippers versus the Nuggets. That's going to be an interesting series, man.
Clippers. I'm not going to say 4 because that's way too disrespectful, but I don't think this series is that interesting. I think that the Clippers win easily.
Yeah, I mean, if Kawhi Leonard continues to stay healthy, James Harden continues to play at the level that he's playing at, the Clippers can be really dangerous in the West. Yeah,
and I agree. I just think that the Nuggets, without their head coach, is that's going to be the difference. Lakers play the Timberwolves, and I think the Lakers actually win this fairly easy.
Yeah, I got the Lakers in that.
I'm not even going to say it because at this point it's damn near played out. But I got the Lakers winning the series, fairly easy, gentleman's sweep. Bucks and Pacers. It's gonna be a good series.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good series. I want to go with the Bucks.
Me too. I mean, because the Pacers are boring to watch. And then Knicks, I think we both got the Knicks. Magic, Celtics. We both got the Celtics, and Cavs against any of these 3 teams. I'm going Cavs.
More Cavs.
well, it depends. It depends. If they play Miami, I'm going Cavs. But the Cavs are good, man. The Cavs can easily be in the finals, but yeah. So, all right. You got a winner of the week? I'm playing them. I got a winner of the week. Hold on.
Okay, I'm gonna let you.
All right, hold on. Let me get this. We ain't had a winner of the week in a minute.
No, you're a winner. No, you're a winner. No, you're a winner. No, you're a winner.
We got. I don't think I played the right graphic.
No, you're a winner.
All right. All right, this week's winner of the week is somebody that I really don't want to do this. I have profound respect for this person. They you know they are hard workers. They go to work every day. They do their job. They're family men and everything. I'm giving the winner of the week to Scott Smith and Anthony Adebayo. I think that these guys deserve winner of the week because they have not been consistent with off the record. They have they have although they work hard, they have an obligation to provide the information that people ask for constantly, and so them being inconsistent with their program, they don't give people the information that they're requesting. So for that, Anthony Adebayo and Scott Smith, the co-host of Off the Record, get the winner of the week.
Yeah, man. That's well deserved. Nah, that is well deserved. We have to get back on track. I think after this we'll get back on track. It's too easy to just prioritize Wednesday. Been doing it for damn near 10 years. Prioritize Wednesday at 7:00. You know, nothing goes on. Don't miss a beat. Nothing's scheduled. If something's scheduled, you can't make it. Or figure out, you know, if it's the morning, if it's the evening, if it's Thursday. Like it's plenty of times to get the show done. Whether it's Tuesday, you know, we've done Saturday, but to go weeks without recording, that's bad business. Bad business.
It's all good. And so I'll apologize as well. I actually was just gonna give it to you. Because you ain't had a winner of the week in like a year. And I'm like, it's a damn segment. It was your baby, and you just threw it to the wayside.
I gotta get better, bro. I gotta definitely get better.
And just don't get better on Madden tonight, because Scott and I have we have a battle. Not a battle, but we have a game in Madden, and you know, Scott's fighting for his playoff life. And if I can be the one to even if it's not the final nail in the coffin, if it's like the second to final nail in that coffin, if I can be the one to do that, that will make life just so grand, you know?
Yeah, I got a tough hill. The only thing, like, look, I want to make the playoffs, right? You know what I mean? Like, you don't play the game to not make the playoffs. So
right,
I would be sitting here lying and saying, you know, he was a Bears owner. He was a Bears owner. He was.
And we're not going to talk about what team I have right now, but yeah. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but I the fact that I'm not going to get fired brings me a little bit of comfort. But not making the playoffs, I don't know, man. It's a little unacceptable, man. It's a little less than par, man. And this season, you know, I it's not a game that goes by that I don't miss number 16 out there. It's been a long, hard struggle out number 16 and on the sidelines in Duval County. I damn near forgot how to coach without him. And, you know, I hope, you know, the other guys, man, they work hard, but it was nothing like coaching 16. Yeah.
He's so humble. So, look, so all right, so sticking with the football thing, the draft is in a week. There's been a lot of heat thrown at Shedeur Sanders, right? I mean, he may be the most polarizing figure in the last 5 or 6 drafts. I don't know if there's anybody who's been scrutinized to the degree that he has in the last 5. Can you think of anybody? Like even the most sought after guys haven't been scrutinized the way this kid has.
So when I look at this, right,
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like so Shador Sanders and Travis Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say that I've been like the biggest fans of them, but after watching them go through like their different scrutinies, right? Like Travis Hunter went through hell for no reason, right? I mean, like
Right.
literally no reason. Didn't I mean? You can say whatever you want to say about his girlfriends, nobody else's business, but the way that every single person went on, it was just crazy. And then you fast forward a couple months later, and it's like the same thing is going on with Shador Sanders. And it's like, okay, like what did he do to deserve all that? And the amount of just hate that both of them are getting is just not really Travis Hunter anymore, but I don't get it. I don't get it. If you don't want to draft them, you don't like them, it is what it is. But to just downright like hate on them, and I mean, I'm starting to hear all the guys that they're maybe giving opportunities to, and they're saying, "Oh, this guy is better." I'll tell you, like every year, people try to fool themselves, right? It's like watching the old like Mayweather fight. And you know, they used to always hype up the opponent. Oh, yeah, this guy could beat him, this guy could beat him, this guy could beat him, and you get hyped up to watch, and you're like, man, I knew the guy couldn't beat Mayweather. It's the same situation with this, right?
It's the exact same.
Yeah. Look, I get it. He may not be the best quarterback in the draft. Maybe Cam Ward is. But if he's not the best quarterback, he is the second best quarterback at least. And you know, when you look at, let's talk about the Giants for a second, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Giants, you got Russ Wilson, you got James Winston.
Mm-hmm.
What type of plan is that? Like, what? I mean, if they pass on the quarterback and they're going to roll Russell Wilson out there and Jameis Winston, and they think that that gives them the best opportunity to win, they're crazy.
Yeah. I personally think that if Shador is available at 3, they have to take him. They have to take him. I don't see. I mean, now I hear about even if Travis Hunter is available, is there, you have to take Shador. You need a quarterback of the future, and I mean he's been damn good. So if you don't,
I'm hearing they're going to pass on him, and
that's what I'm
possibly
hearing.
take Jalen Milroe in the second round.
I don't think Jalen Milroe is going to make it to the second round. I think that Jalen Milroe. I think that what happens with Jalen Milroe. Listen, you don't just get invited to the draft just for the sake of getting invited to the draft. I think that Jalen Milroe is going to be a first round quarterback. I think you got a possible of anywhere from 2 to 4 quarterbacks going in the first round. That's what I think is going to happen. There's going to be anywhere from 2 to 4 quarterbacks getting drafted in the first round, and I think that Jackson Dart. Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if you see 3 quarterbacks drafted in the top 10.
I mean, it's possible. I mean, so some of them guys, like you look at Jalen Milroe, is he a starter immediately? I don't think so, but he's a good development prospect, you know, to where like if you get him into the right situation, which I think that's why it makes a little bit of sense for the Giants, considering like, okay, you got Russell Wilson, you got Jameis Winston. If you get this guy, you have him for a year and go that direction. I don't know if that's the best decision, especially when that GM should be coaching for his job for what he did with Saquon Barkley.
So with Milroe, I think that now I'm not saying he's the same type of athlete because he can run, but I think with Milroe, he could be put in a situation like Michael Penix, right? Michael Penix, they just Atlanta had just signed what's his name, Kirk Cousins, and they still drafted him in the top 10, and so he ended up playing, and I thought he was pretty damn good, for what he had, for the the situation that he was put into. So I think Milroe could sit for some time. He has enough playing experience in a big conference. He's played a ton of like competitive games, NFL type games. So I don't think that'll be a issue. So I feel like he'll be perfectly fine if he goes to the Giants. The problem is like, do you have the necessary weapons for him, right? And I guess that's something that we will have to find out. You have a Malik Neighbors, but you don't necessarily have a good running game. You don't, if your line is healthy, you have that. But again, you don't necessarily have to worry about that this year because you'll have the likes of Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston in front of him, which I think that if I'm being 100% honest, I don't really necessarily think that Jameis Winston makes it to the start of the season. He either gets traded, cut, and they pick up somebody else, or they keep him and he's the third quarterback. But
now that's a possibility. So let me ask you this, because you bring up an interesting take. Malik Neighbors, do you think the Giants may have made a mistake drafting him?
Oh,
and
absolutely.
So when I say this, right, it's not to downplay anything Malik Neighbors has done. Malik Neighbors is an all-world receiver, the best. But if you look at where the Giants were drafting last year, they were drafting at like number 6. And you brought up this point, and what had me kind of thinking about it is you started talking about Michael Penix, which he ended up playing, didn't look half bad. J.J. McCarthy got hurt, but he would have been there when they were picking last year. You look at like Bo Nix, who would have been there. Let me see who else was out there. Jaden Daniels wasn't available.
Right.
What's his name? Caleb Williams was not available.
Right.
I'm trying to think if anybody else started those in the first round.
So yeah, you had Caleb, Jaden, Michael Penix, JJ, Bo Nix. It was another quarterback taken in the first round last year that I'm doing.
This.
Oh, that's why they got go.
Yeah, who was the other quarterback? Can I think of it?
So, but yeah, Michael Penix, JJ, Bo Nix. No, that was it. It was just those 5. I'm sorry. No, Drake May.
Okay, so he ends up being a starter too. Yeah. So all those guys, with the exception of J.J. McCarthy, which I do believe that J.J. McCarthy probably would have started had he been in camp, just with the buzz and everything that was hearing about. So you look at that, you had an opportunity to you passed on 5 quarterbacks or 4 quarterbacks, possibly could have helped your franchise out a little bit more. I don't know. I think he might have missed last year. And this year, you get it to the point to where you don't really like all the guys that's there, right? Because you're looking at Shedeur Sanders and you're like, do I really want to pick him with the number 3 pick? And you're in a situation where if you don't get a quarterback, you should be chased out of town. I mean, with Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston, I don't see them winning past 7 games.
That's fair. In regards to Malik Neighbors, I think they had to pick him at that. That was like the perfect spot because remember, the Giants had just got rid of Saquon Barkley, and you know clearly they chose Daniel Jones over Saquon, so they wanted to give Daniel Jones some sort of weapon, which happened to be Malik Neighbors. It didn't work, of course. Malik Neighbors worked, but everything else didn't. You know, so I don't think that they were necessarily pressed to get a quarterback. You probably could have taken Penix, McCarthy, or Bo Nix, but again, you had money tied into Daniel Jones, so I understand why they took the receiver because you needed a weapon. He was the best available weapon at that time, and so in regards to the Giants, that pick, it was really the smart pick at that time. Could they had taken a quarterback? Yeah, but all the focus was on building around the quarterback that they already had in the building at that time, which didn't last that long because they ended up, cutting them.
So let me ask you,
yeah,
and I haven't given it much thought myself, but who's under the most pressure to have a good draft this year?
Ooh, under the most pressure.
Yeah, what team?
The Giants, for one, are under a ton of pressure because I think that if they don't get it right, everybody's going to be gone. The GM, the head coach, the coordinators, everybody's going to be gone. So I would say that the Giants are under the most pressure in regards to that. Now there's a lot of teams that are under pressure to get it right, like that have expectations. The Giants are, I would say, number one. I think the Raiders are up there. I think the Jets are up there. The Bears are definitely up there. The Cowboys are up there. I think that the Cowboys. I don't know if I don't think the pressure is as high with the Cowboys this year as in previous years, and the main reason why is a new coach. There wasn't a lot of movement in free agency, so I think the expectations are kind of low. They're low for me, I know that. They're kind of low in Dallas, so I don't know if there's necessarily a ton of pressure, but and you know what? I take the Jets off of there and the Raiders because they have new coaches, even though the Raiders have Pete Carroll and he's experienced and things of that nature. But I feel like if you have a new coach, you don't necessarily have a lot of pressure. Like Cleveland has a lot of pressure, but I think New York is at the top of the list. Yeah, I think New York.
I'll even throw my team in there.
49,
yeah. There's a lot of pressure with all the free agents that we lost. There's a lot of draft picks. You got to get them right. You got to hit,
Right.
Now, does that take us back to the playoffs? I don't know, but there is going to be a lot of pressure with all these draft picks. Hey, you've got to find talent because you're losing a lot of talent,
Right. So I can agree there. If you got a new coach, you don't necessarily have the pressure of having. I mean, you're an NFL fan. You already have that pressure. Yeah, yes, you have pressure to have a good because you're new, but it's not like if you don't have a good draft and you miss on some of your picks that you'll get fired. I think that if the Giants screw up this draft and they don't win, their coach and GM are getting fired pretty much immediately after that game. So yeah, Charles, I have to disagree there. I think the expectations for the Bears are actually really high in the positive. I think that they got the Detroit Lions OC, and the Bears should be a playoff team this year. it'll be a highly disappointing if they don't make the playoffs this year.
I would agree with that because they got the guy that they wanted. They really had all the pieces and kind of underachieved last year, but a lot of that was coaching.
I agree. Right.
So we'll see what they do in the draft, but I do expect the Bears to be a playoff team. I expect Caleb Williams to take the next step, and the organization obviously expects the same thing because they wouldn't have fired their coach and brought in his guy because there's a lot at stake for making Caleb Williams successful.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. So you know what happens when people come late? They miss the whole Luka segment of the show. You know, don't come in here. You know, we're gonna start putting people on blast. This man come in here talking about we talking bit. You pretty much we are 51 minutes into the show, and you got the nerve, the unmitigated gall to come here and talk trash. Off with his head. Anyway, so I think this draft, I'll say this again. I personally want the Cowboys to draft Omarion Hampton. I think that he's going to be the best. He'll end up being the best back in this draft. Better than Genty, better than all those other guys. I think that Omarion Hampton is going. He and possibly can win Rookie of the Year. You know, so that's why if I had to make the choice, that's who I would pick. Now, I know everybody got Matthew Golden is another one that's he's a home run hitter. So
let me ask you this. And I've been meaning to ask you about this. We had a little bit of a conversation, didn't really get to talk. Quarterback, University of Tennessee, ends up transferring to UCLA today.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on how that whole situation played out?
My initial thoughts were, this is crazy. Right? I felt like this is crazy. Holding out, you know, you're getting $2.5 million, saying that you want $4 million, and then you start getting more information. Now, what I heard today, which I don't believe, I heard people say it wasn't about the money, but it was about the scheme and all of those things. And I was like, you ran the same scheme last year. Y'all went to the playoffs, but whatever. Now they saying that his dad is the ringleader in this, and you know, this dude was getting over 46,000 per week, and they wanted, instead of 46, they wanted 80. I think both things can be true. I think that they wanted to hold out for more money, but the quarterback also didn't like the scheme that the coach was trying to run, and they got him up out of there.
They said, he was requesting them to upgrade his offensive line. He wanted some of his skill positions upgraded. So this is weird. I kind of like it. I really, honestly, as weird as it sounds, good for him. Yeah, okay. I mean, somebody agreed with me before I said it. Yeah, I agree. Good for him for wanting to maximize like his money that he was getting. I hope he could back up his performance so it doesn't end up like one of them situations he goes to UCLA and everything goes bad for him. But I did like a little bit what I heard. Now, at first, when I saw the story, I was like, but the more I started reading into it, why can't he control his future? I mean, this is everything. I mean, it's different strategies to monetize yourself or your brand. And he's probably go ahead.
So I get that. I'm never against players getting. Look, we this conversation, excuse me, this conversation goes back to 2014 when Scott and I were in a full. I mean, almost came to blow. Now we ain't almost come to blows, but I was on one side of the fence. He was on the other side of the fence, and it was boom, boom, boom. He was like the players shouldn't get paid. They get a scholarship. That the whole all of this stuff. He since then, of course, it's changed, right? Because I think honestly, personally, I think it changed that day that we had the conversation. But whatever. But so I don't have a problem with him getting his money, right? If there's a market for him, he should get his money. Do I necessarily believe that he should hold the school hostage? That I don't really care for. I don't really care for that. Now the other thing is his dad. They said his dad was the one doing the talking. But you know what? If Xavier's in the same position and he has the opportunity, because me personally, I don't think that they make this move if they don't know that they could get that money. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So if they know that they can get $4 million from a school, but you ultimately giving them first right of refusal, like, hey, they're gonna offer me $4 million. What you gonna do? And if they say no, then they say no. But you gotta be prepared for the backlash of what's gonna happen, because the school is gonna spin it to favor the school. You have to be prepared for that. Yeah. So they're gonna make it. So they're gonna make it that where look, we wanted him here. He was holding us over the ledge, talking about he wanted $4 million. There's no way that the University of Tennessee is going to say that they can't afford $4 million. You're not going to tell me that this big SEC school can't afford $4 million. So because every starting quarterback last year in the SEC made more money than Brock Purdy, who was in the NFL. So you're not about to tell me that a school like Tennessee couldn't afford $4 million. Now they didn't want to be made a fool, or felt like they was getting, pardon my language, but they was getting bitched, right? So they was like, no, you got to go. And ultimately, that's what happened. He ended up getting kicked off the team or leaving. I honestly, at this point, I don't know what's true. They saying that they released him and they kicked him off the team, and I heard people saying that he left the team himself. So nonetheless,
yeah. Regardless, though, I mean, we can't be mad at somebody because it's a long game play, right? If he doesn't look good in the offense, or he has potential to look better, or showcase himself for the pros to make more money, I think that's what he was looking at, leveraging too.
Right. Yeah. I mean, well, now he's at UCLA. They needed a quarterback anyway. They need a lot more. Listen, if he was talking about the personnel at Tennessee,
maybe he's an LA kid, so maybe he was just trying to get back to LA.
And that's possible. And that might have been the dad's plan the whole time. You know what I'm saying? So, I won't even say the dad's, the family's plan the whole time. So,
and I want to tell you, this Miami Chicago game is looking like the Atlanta game.
What's the score? Give us a quick.
It is 50-33.
Miami.
8 minutes left in the second.
Okay, good. All right, so all right, man. I don't know if we advanced yet, but I'm prepared for that.
Yeah, I'm already your sworn enemy. I need this victory more than you do.
No, you don't.
I do. I do. I need this.
I'm sick of Jamal already.
Here's a feature lined up.
So again, everybody, we appreciate y'all for tuning in. Again, we apologize. We will be more more consistent. Let me tell y'all something, yo. We went the whole pandemic without missing a week. Like, cut us some slack, man. Like, that joint was crazy. Like, we was boom, 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 boom. Like, during the pandemic with no haircuts. Like it was bad, man. It was bad. And you know, it wasn't really no sport. We was giving y'all some kind, you know. Hey Scott, I'm gonna go back to some of those. We gonna cut up. We gonna post some real.
Nah, don't post some. He ain't have no haircuts. Nah.
Hey, listen, you perform your best when you look your worst, man. You know. So, but nah, man, it's all good. This is Off the Record. I'm Anthony Adebayo.
It's boy Scotty B.
Hold on one second. Hold on. All right. Yeah. Yeah, that's how y'all know. I was like, oh, oops. All right, we out.
We off the record. Anthony Adebayo. We off the record.
With you there, but if you're a coach, do you take that chance?
Yes. You can reach us at the Off the Record Show at gmail.com. Anthony Adebayo. And the most accurate sports coverage. Scotty B's Fantasy 5.
We're different from any other sport.
His sophomore year. Comes back and says, you know what?
And your boy, Scotty B.